Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. Happy Monday and welcome back from the weekend. Are you having a nice week so far? And first day, but you know what? I feel like it's off to a great start. And if you're joining us on the replay, a big hello to you as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's wonderful to have you with us, and a big welcome also to our friends at Modern Mom, because we're also streaming to you. Now let's start with the market. Let you now know how the market closed today, because actually all across the board, some good news. Dow closed up 373 points today. The Nasdaq also up 225 big ones. That's always a good sign for the tech-heavy Nasdaq. And S&P up also 58 points. The stock market, you might be thinking, the stock market is celebrating? From what may you be asking? Well, we're still in the middle of the pandemic, right? Yes, we are. And we're still concerned about inflation, right? Yes, we are. But there are hints that the worst maybe just be a little closer to being behind us. Today, the U.S. stock market soared to new highs as there's been signs that the U.S. job market is improving and that Americans are able to get back to work, which has financial analysts optimistic on a quick recovery post-pandemic. You saw that news coming in from last week, but let's talk about this week as well. So what about those vaccine passports you've been hearing about? Are you ready to get flying again? Many of us miss travel, and rightly so. I don't know about you, but I miss travel so much. My kids are always wondering, like, we just had spring break. Like, when are we going on vacation again? Well, that may have been so 2019, but let's all agree that you and I, we probably all need a vacation. And last Friday, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC for short, shared that those who are fully COVID-19 vaccinated, as defined as 2 full weeks post their complete vaccine schedule, actually could travel at low risk to themselves. Now, Rochelle Walensky, who is, as you know, the new CDC director, has also eliminated some testing and quarantine travel guidelines for the same fully vaccinated population. Now, this is good news. Many of you have been looking at booking more travel, looking at booking hotels and whatnot, and you're probably thinking, like I am, like, this is good. Does that mean I can get on a plane? Well, not so fast. First of all, she says fully vaccinated 2 weeks post, right? And although she also added that she still doesn't recommend that we travel at this time due to the rise of coronavirus cases and variants, but you can, but you can't, but you shouldn't. Right? So we saw a lot of rise on travel stocks today, including airlines, cruise lines, and other businesses that would benefit greatly from a reopening. We certainly saw that with electric vehicles, a lot of stocks that would traditionally do well, transportation, that all seemed to do very well today. And so you're seeing that across the board. You're seeing a lot of that being trickled in on the Dow, on the tech side, as well as the S&P. Tech being Nasdaq heavy, the Nasdaq, which is heavy in technology. Now, let me ask you this. Are you or your company frustrated with how many taxes you're going to be paying this April 15th? Or this year, Monday, May 17th, since the tax filing date has gotten moved? Let me tell you about, I own multiple businesses, and this is definitely a pain point. And let me be completely honest with you. There have been times where I've actually given some thought, like, should I move to a different state that's a little more tax friendly? Should I move, should I do other things? It seems like a lot of businesses that are really smart in doing certain things that perhaps mitigate some of those taxes. Maybe you've actually considered moving your business to a more exotic country, to more lenient tax collectors. Well, that loophole, unfortunately, may be closing if Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is successful, because Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen shares today that she's pushing for a global minimum corporate tax in an effort to keep companies like ours and yours and everybody else's from relocating to find more tax-friendly pastures, right? To find lower rates. So Janet Yellen said, we are working with the G20 nations to agree to a global minimum corporate tax rate that can stop the race to the bottom. So Yellen, this is what she actually told the Chicago Council of Global Affairs. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But it sounds like doing business in the United States, if it were under Janet Yellen's decision, might not be that much more expensive than having to go and seek out another country to move the business to, which we know is, keeping businesses here in the United States is certainly great for those of us who are here in the United States paying taxes and everything else to our prosperity of a country. So it's the beginning of the month. Let me ask you this. Did you pay your utility bill? And I see Brian Schumann, I see Alina Law, I see so many of you joining us today. Let me ask you this. Did you pay your utility bills this month? And did you pay your internet bill? And let's add to that. Did you pay your Facebook, your Google, and your Twitter bill too? Now, you might be thinking do Winnie eat too many Easter eggs over the weekend because she's not thinking too straight, right? But let me just say that as you know, those are currently not the same. And why would we be paying tech platform bills, right? We pay our utility bills, but we don't pay our tech platform bills because they're different. Are they different? Well, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has suggested today that perhaps tech platforms should be regulated just like utilities are. So a little backstory on this is, in fact, tech platforms were to be regulated like our utility companies currently are, well, this would change the most fundamental core of what these tech platforms are, a place for people to share, to engage, and to challenge and support content. I would love to see what you all think. Brian Schumann, I know you're a big influencer on LinkedIn. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about LinkedIn being regulated like your water bill would be, like your water company would be, So let's see. Alicia, I see you joining us from YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Let's talk about that a little bit. So they're talking about, Clarence Thomas has said, you know what, we realize that these tech platforms might be going a little haywire, maybe out of control. Maybe some things need to change. And so we're talking about regulation. When we talk about regulation, especially in the context of utilities, I think it's safe to say that we normally don't think of our electric or water bill as really being challenged to improve, keep up, or, what those tech platforms are supposed to be providing us with. So the most interesting thing about this statement, however, is that it also opens the door. And what door would that be? It says that the Supreme Court is open to discussing and reviewing how tech companies, the Googles, the YouTubes, the Facebook, the LinkedIns, list on and on, right? How they perform and whether regulation of some type is necessary. Really interesting, because I thought that we were all about making sure that there was, democracy of free enterprise. But there may be some merit there, depending on how you feel. And as we've seen with the damage of misinformation can lead to in the last few years, makes you kind of wonder. I'm interested to see your thoughts on this. I'm continuing to collect information and continue to read about this, but this is something that we definitely should be monitoring and paying attention to, especially of those of you who are joining me on social media. And for those of you who appreciate sort of, getting this content, what that would look like. Would the regulation be positive? Certainly there'd be some positives. Would it be complete negative? Certainly there'd be some negatives. On which side of the fence do you stand in regards to regulation on tech platforms? So we'll see. More discussion coming out. We're going to talk about this more in the coming weeks for sure as we pay more attention to this. But basically what they're saying very clearly is the Supreme Court is open to discussing and reviewing cases on this topic. So let's see, will this be history in the making or something that we'll be looking at months or years from now? On other notes, tomorrow, join me again as we speak to Nutritional Brand CEO Dana Pratt and how she's handled the pandemic as a CEO of a major pharmaceutical nutrition company. And we're excited to share with you her tomorrow and also talk about a birth of a brand new product that we're going to be talking about. Join us tomorrow. Invite your friends because we've got lots of giveaways tomorrow. And of course, a lot for you to think about. So thank you so much for watching, supporting our program. Please take a moment to share this show with everybody that you care about. And as a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku, and soon to be one more platform I'll be sharing you in the coming weeks. Be well, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Take care now.